Good morning, Card Media. It's RJ back with another video. Let's get to it. Today's random Mike Schmidt item of the day. 2003 Donruss Diamond Kings framed version. Crowning moments. It's not serial numbered or anything. This was the card in the set. And it's interesting. This is 2003. We're 2022 now. And I'm wondering, when was the first year somebody put a frame around a card? So if you look at this card, you can see, if you look close, you can see the seam there. And this frame is literally just pasted on the card. That's the way they made it. And it provides a little frame for the painting in the back. So it's kind of cool, little three-dimensional thing. Kind of cool for the frame around a painting and all that. I'm wondering if this was one of the earliest framed cards. It'd be interesting to see when that happened, because Panini, which is, we bought up Donruss years ago, but Panini is still doing framed cards today, and one of the few companies that regularly puts out framed cards. I think Topps does it once in a blue moon, but Panini does it every year on some of their products, so that's just an interesting little thing. On Saturday, this past week, I went to the local flea market in town that's there every weekend and picked up a 1992 Topps Micro Baseball sealed set. You might say, why did you waste your time and money on that? Well, it's a set and I didn't have it yet, and it's still sealed, and it only cost me $1. So why not, Why not spend $1 on a set I didn't have and add it to my collection? Micro baseball is kind of funny. I'm going to put that there for now. Micro baseball is kind of funny in one way. I want to say the impetus for that is Cracker Jack, because I guess Cracker Jack decided after so many years to get back into the habit of putting baseball cards in their packs, and they didn't think they could put full-size baseball cards. They chose to put little baseball cards, because if you saw Cracker Jack back when it first came out was putting really good quality, steel toys and things in their packages. Well, you go back to the 80s and 90s, you're talking about little plastic rings and spiders and little stickers and tattoos and stupid things. Things are really small. So the concept, they had moved out of putting big things in their packages, and they were down to putting teeny little things in their packages. So the only way they could do it is if the baseball card was reduced to that size too. So I guess they worked out a thing with Topps to produce little teeny cards to go in their packs. And Topps did it. So the 1991 Cracker Jack had 1991 Topps cards in it. Almost the exact same card. There was actually a limited edition of 36 or something. But Topps did it, and I guess that occurred to them, well, gee, maybe we should put a whole set out of these mini things. So 1991, they did issue a micro baseball card set. 1992, they did it as well. 1993, they did it as well. I think that was it. I think this phenomenon lasted just 3 years. So you can get the whole set of micro baseball cards, which was the impetus, I'm pretty sure, proposed by Cracker Jack, and then Cracker Jack went to Donruss the next 2 years. They dropped Topps, but Topps kept making the micro baseball card set. I think it's a little ridiculous, but they did. And nowadays these sets can be had for almost next to nothing, except the 93 one, because the 93 has a Jeter rookie in it. So that might cost you a couple more than $1. But the others are pretty much just dollar cards. So there you have it. Today what I want to show off is the 1991 top. Oh, I'm going to take a step back. Rewind, start again. Today's trivia question. I have here the 1983 Donruss Action All-Stars Cal Ripken card. This would be a second-year Cal Ripken card if you think about it. It's not a rookie because it's 83, but in 1982 his card came out. But this is your prize. Monday's card was the Mike Schmidt one of that set. Today we're doing the Cal Ripken. Another question about Cal. Cal Ripken obviously holds the record for most consecutive games played. He surpassed Lou Gehrig, who had the record before Lou Gehrig and is still number 3 on the list. So who is the number 3 man on the list of consecutive games played. So send me an email with the correct answer. I'll put my email in the description below along with a repeat of the question. You got today and tomorrow to answer that question, and you'll be put in the Sunday drawing to win this card. Best of luck to everybody there. Now we're talking about, I'm going to show off the 1991 Topps baseball set. Why? Well, it's kind of cool. I mean, it's cool to look back at these old sets and to see what was happening in the world of baseball at the time. So the box sets always came with some advertisement. A lot of the standard packs came with these things at the time. This is back when Topps had decided to make its own magazine, the Topps magazine. And then the traded versions, if you remember, what was unique about the traded versions in 91 still was that the traded versions beginning in about in the mid 80s, for whatever reason, Topps chose not to use cardboard stock, but to use card stock for the cards. So it's the white paper stock as opposed to the brown paper stock for the traded sets. And eventually, obviously, everything's made the same now. But back in the day, Topps printed its base cards on cardboard and then the white stock for the traded and Tiffany's. Very odd that they would do it that way, but they did. So we're going to go through the 1991 traded set. I'm going to stop when there's somebody of interest. So Roberto Alomar, Hall of Famer. Wally Backman, famed from his Mets days, ended up with the Phillies briefly, very briefly. Here is your Jeff Bagwell rookie card. Jeff Bagwell in the 1991 traded set. Mine has a little ding on the side. So Steve Bedrosian was traded probably, the Phillies had him for a couple years. In fact, he won the Cy Young for the Phillies in '87. And then he went to the Giants, but the Giants eventually traded him to the Twins, you can see. Derek Bell, rookie card. Rafael Belliard. Dante Bichette, rookie card. Dante Bichette, obviously Bo's daddy. Actually, this isn't a rookie card, I'm sorry. I apologize. He was traded from the Angels to the Brewers. That's why where I mostly remember him. You remember him from the Brewers or the Rockies, if you remember Dante Bichette at all. So, I think some of them are manager cards. I don't know. Sid Bream, famously, scoring the winning run for the Braves in the 91 playoffs there. Brett Butler, previous from the Giants, yep. John Calderon, the Candyman. Gary Carter was on the Giants. He went from the Mets to the Giants, then on to the Dodgers. So he was jumping around for a while there. Joe Carter to the Blue Jays, boo. He only lasted like a season with the Padres, it says. That's kind of surprising. I thought he was with the Padres longer than that, but no, he was on the Padres only once. And it's interesting, too. He started his career with the Cubs. That's where his rookie card is. So a lot of people forget Joe Carter's rookie is a Cubs rookie. So Jack Clark winding down his career, jumping from team to team at the end there on the Red Sox that year. Vince Coleman, Mr. Speedster, done with the Cardinals, on to the Mets. Danny Cox for the Phillies, Danny Darwin. Big names players when I was growing up. Glenn Davis. Glenn Davis on the Orioles. This was an interesting thing. MLB.com or the MLB Network does their Prime 9, and Prime 9, one of the Prime 9s was the worst trades ever. And it was Glenn Davis going from the Astros over to the Orioles, and in exchange, the Astros got Curt Schilling, Steve Finley, and some other player. I can't remember who the other guy was, but all three of them went on to, if not distinguished, but long and quality careers. But Glenn Davis fell apart after that, and he was like a slugger. He was a renowned slugger, always hitting 30 home runs every year, but then he just tanked after that. He was listed as one of those really bad trades, believe it or not. This is what you'll find in your 1991 thing, a lot of USA prospects. So John Detmer, don't recall how his career turned off. Dan Dreifert. There is a famous rookie card, if you know your rookies in here. Jim Isian became the manager. Here you go. I knew there's a manager card. Interesting. I remember Isian as a Philly, so to see him as a manager here is kind of fun. Dwight Evans winding down his career, just like some of the other guys hopping around. You forget that Dwight Evans ever played for a team other than the Red Sox. That's all I remember him doing. Tony Fernandez played in Steve Finley. Like I said, Steve Finley went to the Astros in that Glenn Davis trade. You can see here he was the Orioles the previous year. Jim Fregosi became manager of the Phillies. Gary Gaetti. I forget seeing Gary Gaetti on anything but the Twins, too. Here's the card you'll look for if you're looking for your traded set. It's the Jason Giambi rookie card with him in the USA baseball uniform. Kirk Gibson with the Royals, looking totally stoned. Luis Gonzalez. Gonzalez might have been the other guy. Nope, he was with the Astros the whole time. Okay. Jeff Granger, don't know him. Todd Green, no idea. Jeffrey Hammonds, barely remember the name. Mike Hargrove became manager of the Indians after a long career. Pete Harnisch, he might have been the other guy. It was Pete Harnisch was the other guy who went in the trade for Glenn Davis. Pete Harnisch had a good career. Rick Helling, Charlie Huff, winding down his career. He would go on to be on the Marlins first season. Pete Incaviglia, Bo Jackson back with the Sox after his time off for rehabbing, you know. Bo Jackson with the Sox. Charles Johnson, that catcher, very highly touted prospect for a long time, but just didn't pan out as much as everybody had hoped for. Barry Jones, Chris Jones, Darryl Kyle, sad story of Darryl Kyle and his death, but here's Darryl Kyle's rookie card. Chuck Knobloch rookie card. Chuck was a little spitfall fire plug that people thought a lot of at one time. That's the first half. Candy Maldonado. Jason McDonald, never heard of him. Willie McGee with Giants. Willie McGee is another one of the guys who started bouncing around towards the end of his career. Fred McGriff with the Padres. Fred McGriff needs to be in the Hall of Fame, people. Come on now. Hal McRae, manager of the Royals. He did not have a distinguished managerial career, unfortunately. He was a hitting coach for the Phillies back in the Terry Francona era. Jack Morris, star with the Twins for a little bit there too. Obviously a longtime Hall of Famer with the Tigers, but he had a couple good years with the Twins and Blue Jays, obviously helping them do some winning. Dave Parker on the Angels. Another guy bounced around a lot after his career with a long and distinguished career with the Pirates. David Parker, another guy I think should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't know why he's not. I mean, if you look at his numbers, 2,500 hits, and he was still going. He had a 293 batting average. The guy should be in the Hall of Fame. Come on now, people. Tony Phillips. Here's your head coach, Ron Polk. I have no idea who Ron Polk was or how he ended up being the manager. But there, Rock Reigns. This is back when Topps kept calling Tim Rock Reigns on every card. I wonder if he asked for it. Willie Randolph with the Brewers. Don't remember seeing Willie Randolph on anybody but the Yankees for the longest time, and then he started bouncing around too. That's why it's good to look back at these old sets once in a while and remember who was playing and where they were playing, because you forget sometimes. Here's your Ivan Rodriguez rookie card out of Topps traded 1991. So again, there's some big name rookie cards in your 1991 Topps traded. But again, this is one of those sets where there's lots of rookies, but they made like 5 billion of these sets. You're in the heart of the junk wax era, and then people just weren't collecting Topps at the time. They wanted their upper deck. Here's your Darryl Strawberry traded. He went from the Mets to the Dodgers, and then I think he would eventually go to the Yankees and Giants and all kinds of other things too. Franklin Stubbs, Todd Taylor, but these sets were made so often, so many of them, and it just became, they're like worthless almost. Gary Templeton. Long story about Gary Templeton. Tim Tuffle. Dave Tuttle. Mo Vaughn. I don't think, Mo Vaughn's rookie card. Another one of those great players. This one looks pretty good if you wanted to send this into PSA. Von White. Oh, there's your Mitch Williams, my Mark Whitten and Mitch Williams to the Phillies. Willie Wilson finally off the Royals and onto the A's. Chris Wimmer. Ivan Zweig. There you go. Ivan Zweig. I wonder if he ever made it to the majors. That's a great name. It might be the last guy alphabetically in all of baseball if he made it to the baseball. And then the checklist. So there you go. Just a little trip through the 1991 Topps Traded set. I like to do that. Like I said, it's a good way to remember all those players who were in baseball in your youth, and you really forgot over time how they impacted baseball, whether it was through, where they ended up, where their career took them. Were they a side note in some World Series team or whatever? Like Sid Bream's a good example of that, a side note to a World Series team. But there you have it. So I hope you enjoyed that little trip with me. I hope it wasn't too boring. I like to do these little views once in a while, not too often. So don't forget the trivia question. Again, check the description below for all the details. Appreciate everybody's taking time to watch. Please consider like, subscribing, commenting, and all that jazz. Appreciate y'all. Take care.